Any subject material that you learned in high school that suggested an interest in neuroscience. Like you learned something in psychology and you're like, I really like that. I want to continue following that, like that, those breadcrumbs, and it led you to something in neuroscience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think for me in high school, I took AP Bio and AP Psych, and that was during my senior year. I also took AP Physics, but that one didn't really lead me towards neuroscience. But I took AP Bio and AP Psych at the same time, and I was realizing that I just really enjoyed both classes a lot, and I really loved Psych, but I knew that I wanted to be pre-med. And so I realized that neuroscience was a major that I could do that could combine psychology and the hard sciences that I would need for pre-med. And so I really enjoyed taking both those courses, but I would recommend if you would like to pursue a neuroscience major, any of the AP courses that are going to count for gen eds, I would really recommend, like AP Bio, AP Chem, AP Physics, AP Psych. Any of those four, take them because it helped me so much being able to skip Gen Bio. It was just so helpful. But I had to take the Gen Chem classes, and those were some of my least favorite classes at Michigan State. And so I would really recommend, if you have the time, trying to take those AP courses.
Yeah, I have pretty much the same story as Elise. I took AP Bio and AP Psych, so I'm just going to reinforce what she said. Taking AP Bio meant I didn't have to take 3 bio classes. It was like Bio 1, 2, and Lab, which really saved me because then I could go like straight into the fundamentals of neuroscience, like a lower level neuroscience class. And that helped me understand that, oh yeah, I definitely do want to major in this. So saved some time in case I took that class and I was like, oh, whoop, don't want to major in neuroscience. So definitely, yes, take the AP sciences, any of them. Bio, definitely, I feel like it should be a first priority. Chem and physics can be a little intimidating in high school, so it's like you don't have to like pressure yourself. But AP Bio was definitely really good for me, and AP Psych was fun.
So I saw some from another live stream I was doing. High schoolers were curious, does one have to be good at chemistry and physics? And like what sciences do you have to be strong in to be a neuroscience major? So Elise, if you can speak to that question, please.
Yeah, this is a difficult question because neuroscience requires all those chemistry, biology, physics as like your gen eds. And so I think that you have to be able to pass those gen eds. That's a big thing. But once you get to the neuroscience classes, I think that neuroscience really focuses in mostly on biology. You get a little bit of biochemistry with like hormones and pathways and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think that you mostly just need to be able to firmly grasp biology because it's similar studying tactics. Like compared to chemistry and physics, it's not working through problems. It's understanding how a system works and how things interplay. And so I think that if you have a strong biology mind, then you can do neuroscience, but you have to understand if you're entering a neuroscience major that you're also going to need to be able to pass the chemistry classes, the physics classes, the calculus classes. So just keep that in mind. But I think that mostly you need to have a bio mind.
Emily asks, did anyone go into college not expecting to major in neuroscience? And Elise, I know I don't know, maybe you didn't, but you are yes, you're still pre-med, you were just accepted into medical school. I imagine you maybe had a crystallized idea of what it is you want to pursue going into college.
Okay. So I actually absolutely expected to major in neuroscience. And I think that sounds strange because as a pre-med major, you go into college expecting to do biology or chemistry, but I took AP Bio, I remember in high school, and we had to do a unit about the brain, and I chose to give my presentation on it, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And so I actually immediately went into college expecting to major in neuroscience, and I was confident in the decision, and I still think it was a great decision. So for me, I totally knew that I was going to go into it, but Brooke changed her major a few times.
Yeah, so like I started to say, I got distracted, but I came in as a neuroscience. That's actually what my scholarship to USC is for. They do like scholarships by major. And then I decided I wanted to do some more of that computer science. So I switched to quantitative biology with a neuroscience mind. And then through my freshman literature honors program at TO, we have a program called Thematic Option. And so I got so obsessed with English. I've always been a reader, but I always had that those parents telling me to be practical and study science. And so then I figured out how to balance the neuroscience BA major, frees up enough units to also do the English BA. So then I have this double major that now has a lot of opportunities. I can't go to med school because I didn't do pre-med, but I never really wanted to do that. I could go in to research if I want. I can go to post-grad, or I can go to grad school for English. I can go work in a newspaper. I can write books. So I think just having that double major my path was more figuring out what the two things I wanted to do were, but I always knew that I was interested in neuroscience because it is fascinating. And probably anyone attending this panel is listening because it's fascinating. So yeah, but I do want to quickly mention, don't be afraid to change your major, because people say that statistic. It's like most people on average change their major 3.5 times or whatever. It's not a myth. Like there's plenty of flexibility in the first years of college.